But with the results yet to be finalized, President Donald Trump and his legal team repeated their vow once again on Sunday to bring a wave of new lawsuits contesting Joe Biden's win of the presidency. They say they will start with Philadelphia, and that's what clinched Biden's projected win. That's where the president is claiming voter fraud.
Ashley Sharp joins us live in our studio this morning as she gives us a look at what happens next. Good morning, Ashley.
Yeah, good morning. President Trump has said he will file those additional lawsuits today with charges in some of these battleground states where he says that he is the rightful winner. I spoke with two local professors to get some insight into how this process will move forward.
The president certainly is within his rights to challenge these elections, to demand recounts in close elections, and to bring forth any evidence he has of any election irregularities.
The president not backing down as Joe Biden and Kamala Harris celebrate their projected win.
It's all on the president. Can he prove, not say, but prove that somehow the election was quote unquote stolen from him?
President Trump and his team say they have evidence of voter fraud like dead people voting and poll workers falsifying ballots as they say they were not allowed to observe certain polling locations. But according to ETSU history professor Daryl Carter,
systemic large-scale voter fraud is rare. You can look at election shenanigans in every single state going back to the beginning of the country. But the type of fraud that they are alleging, there's no proof of that.
Right now, President Trump does not concede. He vows to take this to the courts.
I suspect that unless there's very strong evidence of fraud in several of these battleground states, that the Supreme Court would be very reluctant to wade into this contest.
Constitutional law professor Stuart Harris defending the nation's supreme document as many call into question the integrity of our elections in America.
Our decentralized system, where each state runs its own election, it has its flaws. I mean, states can mess things up, as Florida arguably did back in 2000. But the fact that it is decentralized means that it's extremely unlikely that any one entity could coordinate any sort of nationwide fraud.
Right now, the timeline moves forward even as the president threatens legal action. States have to certify their vote count by December 8th. December 14th is when the Electoral College meets to officially cast those ballots. January 6th is a joint session of Congress to count the official votes. And January 20th, Inauguration Day. Casey?